What up YouTube, it's Misery Company. In this video I want to talk about the very best single target build for the Wizard. Now I've seen a few different builds promoted on YouTube by different YouTubers, and I wanted to test them out with the build that I thought was the best to really pin down, really for myself, a little selfish reason, but I wanted to make sure I was using the best build when it came to raids. Because I'm really big into PvE, and I think a lot of you guys are too that watch my videos, so I did want to go ahead and test with time and be as consistent as possible with the build to see which single target build was the best. So we're looking at two different builds, one that is, I would say, most commonly used that I have seen on YouTube and other places and forums, and then the new build that I'm going to go ahead and suggest that is the best build for the Wizard when it comes to solo target. But I want to prove that to you right now. So let's get straight to it. All right. We're doing maximum GPS. So this is the build that I feel like most people have at least heard of or attempted when it comes time for single target builds. It is notable that I don't have my Vithus force stacked, or at least the force set bonus as of yet, but at least that would be consistent for all of these tests. Ooh. So we are doing this on Hell 7. Solo, which is why it's taking a little bit longer. Again, just testing out the single target damage the Wizard could do, because I feel like that is something that a lot of people are going to want to know now that we are, kind of raid heavy, I guess I would say, our time. Start the timer. Oh, we actually got hit by that time. Painful. Big deeps, big deeps, big deeps, big deeps, big deeps. Doing as much damage as possible. Can't really tell yet if it's faster, slower, or indifferent. Let me know if you guys can tell just off the while you're watching this in the comments below. I'm very curious if it's notable, if one is obviously faster than the other. I got hit by another one of those, which is great. Kind of just sticking it out in here to make sure. Boom. Okay, time. Okay, so now that we have ran through both builds in basically a level playing field, so no I only have the 2 set Vithus, and that's it. No other core set items available, which I would actually argue would make both builds stronger if I had a 4 set Vithus and then some other, maybe a 2 set of something else. But it was the same exact set pieces for both builds. Okay, so we're going to cover the builds right now, and I'm going to go ahead and showcase you guys at the very end, after we look at the builds, which one outperformed which. But go ahead and guess which one you think did the best in the comments below. Let's get straight to it. So first things first. First build is what we're going to go ahead and call, I call it the Fire Mage build, but this is the one that like I mentioned earlier, is most commonly used amongst most, I would say, YouTubers. Actually, this is actually a better way of looking at it, so I'm glad I clicked on this. So for the head, we're using the Fire Flurry, which is basically makes your magma burst stronger. So Scorch now hurls a ball of magma that bursts when it strikes an enemy, creating a pool of magma that burns and stuns enemies. Scorch damage increased by 12%, which is Essence Mastery. Next is the Elor's whatever the hell that word is. And this one is the Lightning Nova balls that do adds fire to it. The reason this one is used some other ones is because of the more specifically because of the cooldown that you get for the Lightning Nova compared to some of the other one that I'm using in this build. So for the shoulders, we are doing increased damage, the Shoulders of the Cataclysm, which is increasing damage to Meteor by 16%. Again, increased because of Essence Mastery. And then for the pants, we use Starcrawler's Breachers, which will be, these pants and shoulders are the same for both builds. I will notify that right now. And then the legendary, or the effect of that is Meteor now continuously damages enemies in an area, but no longer stuns. Meteor damage increased by 12%. For the weapon, we're using Old Rustic, which is one of the new weapons available to the Wizard. Lightning Nova now also increases your primary attack speed by 30% for 4.2 seconds. And then last but not least, we're using, it's obviously not that name, but it's a different name. And this is the newer offhand for the Wizard, that is the Magic Missile fires 2 additional missiles, each dealing 1,893 damage increased by 60%. So this build is very good. You can see the skills that I'm using are basically all right there. I am using the same Paragon tree for both, so it's actually both same skills, same Paragon, same set items. Only the legendaries are changing, and then same for the charm, which has little to no effect currently with the builds that I'm using. Pain. That's one of my biggest frustrations really when it comes to these charms is that you're really locked into certain builds for some of these characters, some of the classes rather. Like anyway, that's a video for a different time. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, everything's the same with the exception of the legendaries. So the second build that we ran, build 2, is this one. So it's the brand new head called Crushing Weight. And what this one does is teleport also increases your damage by 10% for 4.2 seconds. We're using the brand new chest, which is the rampant and instructable, yeah, that one, which is the potent storm. Now this one increases the cooldown of your lightning nova. I will notify that right now. I think it's like 11 seconds instead of like the 6 that it normally is. It almost doubles. But what it does is Lightning Nova now conjures a lightning orb that orbits around you, firing lightning bolts at your target when you use your primary attack. Lightning Nova damage increased by 12%, obviously again because of Essence Mastery. Now keep this one in mind. So it is doing damage whenever you auto attack, okay? So keep that in mind. So the shoulder and the pants are exactly the same. We're buffing Meteor, making it do more damage. So that way you can literally set it and forget it. That's the whole point of this build. And I'm still using Scorch. I'm not empowering it with a legendary. That's important to note as well. Same main hand and offhand. So again, I'm increasing the damage of my magic missile. And then for this one is the old rustic, which is your lightning nova also increases your attack speed. Now remember, this pairs phenomenally with your chest piece, because this one is making you it's attacking with you whenever you auto attack, which means if you're auto attacking faster, you're then doing twice as much damage by that chest piece, because that chest piece is also doing more damage the faster you attack. So, and like I mentioned, I only have the two-piece Vithus, which means if I had a 4-piece Vithus, this build would actually perform even better than the other builds, which means I would get that increased attack speed by 30% for 3 seconds, which is massive. So now let's talk about which build won. The first build, which we're calling is the Fire Mage build, actually had a time, I have it over here, let me pull it over, had a time of 46.47 seconds. Now I deliberately picked both of these where I did because it was just a single target, a little bit of ads, a little bit of stuff to dodge, but generally it was the most even playing field I could do for these builds. And then build 2, so again, build 1, 46.47 seconds. Build 2, which is the raid build, is what I called it at least, but this is my solo target build that I've been using. And this one actually performed at 39.27. So a good 7 seconds faster, almost 8 seconds faster than the Fire Mage build, and when it came to a single target fight. So obviously there is some rhyme or reason to this build. I think the biggest benefit is even though you were getting an increased cooldown with this chest piece, it ties in so well with your everything else that you're building. And then this is like the really hidden gem that I feel like no one's talking about when it comes to the wizard, which is this headpiece, which is the Crushing Weight. This one is just that damage increase of 10% for 4 seconds is just so good when you have 3 charges of teleport. It's just so much additional damage at controlled burst intervals, which is just a huge W in my opinion. You use that in tandem with these skills, Scorch and Meteor. So what I mean by that is you teleport when these are off cooldown, drop your bombs, drop your Scorch, drop your Meteor, and then start auto attacking like crazy after you activate your Lightning Nova. And then that way for your, 4.2 seconds, it takes about 1.5 to 2 seconds to drop those damage with a Scorch and Meteor, and then for the other 2 seconds you're just doing massive auto attacks. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. I am very excited to finally have, in my opinion, the best solo target build for the wizard. Again, I have proven this in my opinion based off the previous build I was using, based off what other people recommended, and this is the one that I feel like has net me the most profitability when it comes to solo targets. I would also mention the build is a little messed up because I did get some new pieces, but I did try what I call like the C-beams or the channeled beams build, which is pretty normal for a lot of people. This one was so slow, so very slow compared to the other ones. It was over 50 seconds. I didn't even put it in the video because of how slow it was, but I did want to go ahead and mention that I did try the normal channeled beam disintegrate build as well as the frost build. So I did try other builds as well, and I also tried, I didn't notate this earlier, but I actually did try multiple runs on each build to make sure I got the fastest one available, and this one was still just so far slower than everything else. It's still really good for PvP and good for multi-target fights, but when it comes to single target, my raid build is going to be it for you. And we're going to go ahead and call this something different. Apparently not. Oh, okay. MHC solo. Boom. Save it. Period. Misery Hates Company solo build. You got it here, guys. Take a screenshot. And until next time, lock it in.